Welcome to the Christian Commute for April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2026. I am your special guest host, Joe Webbon. I would like to thank Seth for letting me guest host the Christian Commute today. He often likes to get someone to guest host on April 1st, and it is my honor to be here doing this podcast for a fellow Caucasian Gentile. Let's get right into it today. Seth last left off in the Bible chapter review in Luke chapter 12, verse 13. And I will get to that in a second. Let me have a sip of my whiskey. As you can see, if you ever watch my video podcast on YouTube, I have the proper amount of whiskey, like any Reformed Baptist or Presbyterian who changes doctrines like Pokemon cards should have in the background. And after the show, I will probably smoke a cigar and talk to some of my friends who have high 130s IQs like I do. Let me start off, before I get to the Bible chapter review, by saying if you're a woman, you're probably too stupid to understand. So make sure that your husband listens first so that he can explain it to you. Don't write me asking questions. That's what your husband is for. You probably shouldn't even be listening to podcasts. You could be doing something in your house, sewing your husband's clothes together, making him a pie, going to the liquor store and buying him more bourbon or cigars. So if you're a woman, why don't you just go ahead and turn this off? I don't even want to think about how you people are misunderstanding me. And if you are from a non-white minority, go ahead and listen to someone else's podcast. This is a podcast. I'm white, and you should, even if you're a Christian, you should find a Christian podcast for whoever is your color. So if you're brown, find a brown guy. If you're black, maybe listen to Chocolate Knox, or the Virgil Harrison and Daryl. Both those guys are black. You could listen to them if you're black. But remember, this podcast is for white people with beards on the New Christian Right, with bourbon and no women. So let's get right into the scriptures. Luke chapter 12, verse 13. And forward. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Man, who appointed me a judge arbitrator over you?" Then he said to them, "Beware and be on your guard against every form of greed, for not even when one has an abundance does his life consist of his possessions." And he told them a parable, saying, "The land of a rich man was very productive, and he began reasoning to himself, saying, 'What shall I do, since I have no place to store my crops?' Then he said, 'This is what I will do. I will tear down my barns and build larger ones, and there will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years to come. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your soul is required of you. And now, who will own what you have prepared? So is the man who stores up treasure for himself, it is not rich toward God.'" And that will end it at verse 21. Let's dive deeper into this scripture like it's a good bottle of aged whiskey. The problem here is that Jesus is talking to Jews. He's in Israel. He's preaching to the Jews. The Jews don't believe. And right away we have this greedy person who wants the inheritance. So he comes to Jesus, and he wants Jesus to split his brother's inheritance with him. And Jesus is very frustrated, because of all the greedy Jews. So he has to tell them a story about another greedy Jew, and they are still greedy today, and we should not support Israel at all, because it'd be greedy to do so, and we need to stay with our own. End of Bible chapter review. And listen, you can't get this type of Bible chapter review at your big churches, your traditional churches with the low IQ preachers that are full of women teaching Sunday school. You have to come to my gas station church that I founded with my IQ of 130 to understand the Bible this way. And if you disagree with me, you're probably retarded or a woman or somebody who doesn't understand me because they're not of the right race or doesn't have an IQ of 130 like me. If you heard that and you understood it, it's because you have a high IQ, maybe 120 or higher. If it's 100 to 120, you should find a friend who has lots of cigars and bourbon to explain it with you, as long as he has an IQ of 120. And if your IQ is less than that, you're probably a woman or from a different country. In which case, you shouldn't be listening to this anyway. Now, moving on, let's have a word from our sponsor right now. Are you single and alone? Do you have very strange religious preferences that only you believe, and you can't even get along with the other Baptists, Presbyterians, and Methodists in your town? Do you spend all your money on beards and whiskey? Do you have trouble approaching confident women whose fathers love them? Then look into Foreign Extreme Right Christian Dating Service. We will find you a woman of roughly the same color from another country where women don't have any rights. And for 4 monthly payments of $9,500, we'll ship your new wife to you, and she'll do whatever you say, because she's from the old world where men are still in charge. We guarantee all our women are less than 25% Jewish and less miscegenated than 1/4, in keeping with Confederate law. And we'd like to thank Joel Webbon for being a partner with us. Back to you, Joel. Okay, don't forget to visit our sponsor. All of you out there who just really can't get along with anybody and women don't like you, you can get a nice, good Christian woman from another country who'll basically go to the grocery store whenever you tell her. She can bake any kind of pies. They're from a different country. Now listen, I had another customer, I had one call me. He was very upset because she was from a country that didn't bake the same kind of pies as we do. But don't worry, if you go to my New Christian Right website, I have a new Substack there about how to teach foreign women how to make American pies. Okay, so the apple pies, blueberry pies, cherry pies, all the white American Christian pies are available. Now, once again, if you're not white, you should probably go make an empanada or the flan. Nothing wrong with those desserts, just not on my show. All right, I'm about to wrap it up, but I want to bring in a guest that I have today. You know, I've featured great guests, some of the finest white supremacists of our time, who I totally do not endorse, but nevertheless have on my show, and I'm really friendly to them. So today's guest, all the way from Oakwood, Georgia, is KKK leader Daniel Carver. Welcome to the show, Daniel. Wake up, white people. This is Daniel Carver. Thank you for having me on your show, Joel Webbon. I can't help but agree with everything I heard you say. I know you are exactly right when you talk about the Bible and how the Jews wouldn't listen to Jesus. Now, we don't have a lot of Jews in Oakwood, Georgia, but we got other minorities. And let me tell you something. They want to live 50 to a house, and they'll drive with no driver's license, and they'll run right through the front of your house and run your dog and your cat straight over, and then they'll eat it. So wake up, white people. I got a catalog with a lot of hateful materials in it that you can order from me. Just Google it, call my number. I'll send you my hateful catalog. Wake up, white people. Thank you, Joel. Daniel Carver, what do you think is the problem with America today? Joel, I'll tell you, it's a lack of white people. There's people who are various shades of white, from very pale to those girls who may have been born in California, but they're so tan from the liberalism, you can't count them. Basically, you need like a real red-headed woman, Irish but not Irish Catholic, because they'll miscegenate the whole place. But sort of southern white people with jean shorts are your number one kind. And then you got your kind as white people who have a lot of the cigars and the beards, and they don't have real jobs. So they start their own gas station churches, sort of like how we do in the KKK world, set ourselves up in leaders. We ain't educated or nothing like that. We find a group, here's some people who feel disenfranchised, and we're going to make them feel franchised by getting down on minorities. And if the women have a problem with it, they can wake up and not have a problem with it and make me an apple pie. Joel, I tell you what, all you're missing is the hood, brother. All right. Well, without affirming anything you said, let me just say, I very appreciate you having here. And when we sign off, I'm totally going to share the gospel with you, but I'm not going to do it right here on the podcast. Thank you for being with me today. Daniel Carver from Oakwood, Georgia. Again, this is Joel Webbon from the New Christian Right, guest host of the Christian Commute here on April Fool's Day. And I have to get back to managing my gas station church. And I just want to once again thank Seth from the Christian Commute for having me guest host today, me, Joel Webbon, here on April Fool's Day. Seth says, as always, God bless. Thank you for listening. He says, remember, Christianity is not about getting saved. It's about being saved. That's his thing. I like to say being saved with your own race, where the men are in charge and the women are breaking pies. Thanks for listening.